All right, we're going to try this one more time. First time didn't work so well. We're going to try again. Again, it's a new setup with season ticket baseball, so I think Tabby's scratching at the door, so let me let her in. Tabby can't decide if she's in or out. That's the problem. All right, let's see what we got on the computer here and see what shows up. Looks like I have some room here to operate. We shall see. All right. So it is season ticket baseball, and I do have the rule book in front of me in case I need it. I also have the quick start guide, but I've been watching a lot of videos and reading up on the rule book, so hopefully I won't embarrass myself too bad doing a live video. I was going to do a recording so I could pause it and whatnot, but I thought maybe live would be better. That way if I make a mistake, I can get corrected right on the fly. I do have Riverfront Stadium right here ready to go when we do ballpark checks and so forth. Starting pitchers for today's game on opening day in Cincinnati is J.R. Richard against Tom Seaver. All right, so the first order of business is to check the weather. And the base temperature, this is a day game in April. Base temperature is 51. So we're going to roll all three dice, add it to 51, and see what we get and see if that affects the deep drive. Probably won't, but you never know. We got a 16, we got a 20. So 20 and 51 makes 71, but it still falls within the 54 to 84, so there's no effect on the deep drives. I'm not going to worry about rain because I'm afraid I get a rain out and I don't want to deal with that. So we're not going to be doing that right now. Let's see here. Let me give everybody a little message real quick. So I do appreciate those that are tuning in and watching me possibly crash and burn on this, but hopefully not. Like I said, I've got the rule book in front of me, and then hopefully if some folks are here that are more proficient in this game than I am, they can give me directions in case I mess up. All right. Due to the size of the board I'm trying to play on, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to be able to have the pitcher and batter cards the way I normally would have them, but what I will do, if I can get Tom Seaver off of here, what I will do is I'll have both pitchers here, and then I'll just hold the batter cards as they come up in my hand under the thing there. Hopefully that will be the best way to do it. Hello, Brian B. How are you doing? Hello, Phoenix Knight. How are you? It is fairly straightforward. I mean, I'm thinking I shouldn't mess anything up, but then again, it's like when I was in school, you think you study for a test, and then when test time comes along, your mind just goes blank. And sometimes when you hit the live button on the video, your brain kind of just drops off. You wonder what in the world happened to your mind. Well, that's what I've got. So anyway, we're going to go in and give this a go. I got the dice that came with the game. So we got those to go. Now, there was a D20 that came with the game, but I don't see anywhere in the game where you actually need a D20. Maybe I missed it somewhere, but whatnot. All right, so we are ready to go. And the first batter, in fact, I know what I'm going to do here. I think I'm going to do it this way. I'll put the batter cards here as they come up, and I'll put the pitcher card over there when he's done as well. So starting lineups and benches for both teams. So I'll put Terry Poole there to start the game against Tom Seaver. Hello, Rodolfo and Mungo. How you doing? All right, good. We got some guys that have played the game before, so now if I screw up, I've got some backup, which is always good to have backup when you're not sure about things. Let me look in here and make sure I've got everything as focused in here as I can. I think I do. Best I can do with my cheap equipment. So here we go. We are ready to go. I would say my maiden voyage. I did one video on this about maybe 6-7 months ago. Didn't know what the heck I was doing. Was totally lost. Made a lot of mistakes. So this is my first real opportunity, in my opinion, to try this game. So let's see how it goes. I thoroughly enjoyed Fall Classic. So this is game 2 in the goals of learning new games, and this is game number 2 in that process. So Tom Seaver, here we go. 357. That's like a 357 Magnum, so we're shot out of the gate. How about that? 357 for Tom Seaver. And for Tom Seaver, the 300s actually go to the batting card, Terry Poole. And 347 is a foul out to third base. That's one away as he fouls out to Pete Rose. So Terry Poole pops it up. Pete Rose is there, and there's one away. And that'll bring up Enos Cabell. Hello, Doug. How are you doing? Seaver, a 123 for Tom Seaver. 123 is a redirect to a 323. So we go to Cabell on a 323, and that is a strikeout. So Seaver gets the K, and I'd messed up the redirects the first time I tried to play this game too, but I think I've got the hang of those now as well, and the reasons why they're there. So that'll bring up Cesar Cedeno. And that's a 688. Wow. We go to the ballpark card for 688. Home team is not batting, so you don't get the 10. And there's so 688. 688 is right here. It's a single. 688 is a single. There's a plus, but nobody's on base, so base runners would have gotten 2 extra bases on that, but Cedeno will be aboard on the 2-out single. And that's going to bring up Jose Cruz. And please, if I make a mistake, please don't feel shy about chiming in and saying, hey, buddy, you screwed this up. Because that's the way I learn, is by making mistakes. Sometimes you got to make mistakes to learn the correct way. All right, here's Jose Cruz. And back to 600s again, 624. So 624 is a pop-up to second base, and that's going to end the inning as Seaver gets Cruz to pop up. And that's the end of the first inning. Or into the top of the first, I should say. Houston, nothing. Cincinnati coming to bat. And hopefully I played that first inning correctly. I think I did, but you never know. Hopefully I did. If I did not, somebody can let me know what I messed up, and I will correct it. Or at least attempt to correct it. All right, so J.R. Richard is now the pitcher. And the batter for the Reds is Pete Rose, leadoff man at third base. Hello, Mr. RJL. Hello, Mr. Gardner. This is live, of course. Hello, DJ John. Like I said, I was going to record this, but I figured I'd rather play it live. That way, if I make a mistake, I can get instant feedback. But, you know, maybe it doesn't happen to other YouTubers, but for me, when the live button goes on, my IQ goes down quite a bit. So I'm going to try to get through this. All right, so Pete Rose facing J.R. Richard. And again, a 600, but the home team's batting, so we're going to add 10 to this. So instead of a 619, it's going to be a 629. So 629 may not make a difference. 619 would have been a pop to second. 629 is a pop to short. So it didn't really make a whole lot of difference. Pete Rose pops it up for out number 1, and Rose is retired. That'll bring up Ken Griffey Sr. Hello, Rayner. How are you doing? Richard, 468. That's going to be under Ken Griffey under the splits. Against a right-hander, a 468 is a double. He would have hit it against the lefty also. So Ken Griffey smacks a double, a 1-out double. And as Brian B. would say, this is the appropriate first game to play in Cincinnati by tradition. So, all right, so Morgan is your batter now with Griffey at second base. Richard, we're back to 600 again, 672, but the home team's batting makes it a 682. So we go to 682. 682 is a single plus. So the 672 would have been a bloop single without the runner scoring, but the plus is going to score him. So Griffey will score, and Joe Morgan, RBI single, as the Reds enjoy that home cooking, getting those extra points off the home field. And Joe Morgan gets himself an RBI single, and the Reds lead it 1-0. And J.R. Richard is not a happy camper. But Reds fans are. Marge Schatz even chiming in. Hello, Philip. How are you doing? All right, here's George Foster. Foster is Australian for home run. It is 340. 340 is the result, and that is going to be on Foster's card, non-splits. 340 is a strikeout. So Foster has a huge strikeout range there, 300 to 363. He takes the K, and he does so right there for out number 2. And that's going to bring up Danny Dreesen, taking over for the longtime Red Tony Perez, who was shipped off to Montreal. When I shipped off, I think it was free agent to Montreal. We get a 505. So we have a rare play. It's a good thing I got my book here. It's got the rare plays in it. So rare plays. 505 is a rare play. We're going to re-roll. See what happens on the rare play. We get a 267. So we go to rare plays, number 267. So rare play number 267. Falls right here into 260 to 299. Single plus plus error 7 possible. Single to left field. If white die is higher than the left fielder's rating, the batter advances to second base on a fielding error by the left fielder. The white die is a 6. Now, I did not do the fielding chart like RJL had because it's a one-off game, and I didn't really feel like it was worth the effort to do that. So left fielder is Terry Poole. We'll check out his defensive rating in left field. And his defensive rating in left field is a 6. That white die is a 6. But it says if it's higher than that, then he gets the extra base. It is not higher. It is the same. It is the same. It is the same. But it is a single plus plus. So that means Morgan will take third. But it's going to mean Dreesen has to hold at first base, and there is no error. Just a single, but no error on the play. So now with 2 outs, the Reds have runners at the corners for Mr. Krylon himself. No runs, no drips, no errors. Johnny Bench, Mr. Baseball Bunch, whatever you want to call him. He is at the plate. Oh, so it was a trade, Brian B. Okay, I thought it was a free agent. I didn't realize it was a trade. They must have thought he was washed up or something. I don't get that. But whatever. That's just what they did. All right, here's Bench. Richard trying to get out of the mess. 190, and a 190 is under Richard's card. Non-split, and it is a line drive to short. And I'm assuming a runner on second would get picked off here if there was somebody on, but that's not the case. There's 2 outs already. It's just a liner to short, and the inning is over. But the Reds break on top with a run thanks to the RBI single from Joe Morgan. A run on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left. At the end of 1, it's Cincinnati 1 and the Houston Astros of Steeler fan nothing. So Tom Seaver given the 1-run lead to try to protect. And I said I've got to work on my setup here. I may have to go to a bigger board, but I was trying to get a picture of Riverfront Stadium to make it to add to the ambiance, but I may not be able to do that. I don't know. So Bob Watson is going to be your leadoff man against Mr. Seaver. All right, RJL, maybe you can catch it on the backside. Hello, Reiner. Oh, from Germany. Cool. Good deal. All right, Seaver, 235. That's under Seaver on a split, and he's a righty, so 235 is going to be a fly to center field for out number 1. So Watson is retired. That will bring up the catcher, Joe Ferguson. Now, Brian B., I was going to roll for rain, but I really didn't want to do that because I didn't want to deal with that on this opening day. I got enough problems trying to get the game right. So that's why. I mean, I thought about it, but I didn't do it. And the temperature came out okay where there's no effect. Seaver, 310. 310 against a right-hander. I'm sorry, 310 over here. Not against the right-hander. It's just a basic one. It's a strikeout. So the low 300s lead to strikeouts, and that's no different for Ferguson. He is out of there, 2 down. And that will send up Art Howe. 568. Now that is a defensive check, and the blue 8 is bad news for the defense. We're checking the shortstop, Concepcion. Concepcion, a 5.68 is an E6. 8 and 9 on the blue die is an E6. So that's an error on Concepcion. The normally reliable fielder commits the error. And Art Howe will take first base with 2 down. And that's going to send up Roger Metzger. He's actually carded on the printed set with San Francisco because he got traded. So I had to do the PDF of his Houston stats. So these are just the stats he has with Houston: 123 at bats and a 220 average. Hi, all, Reiner. How you doing? Hello, Mr. Red Sox fan, Al Red Sox fan. How are you doing? Tabby is right down the floor next to me, but I'm not going to disturb her. She's quiet, and I want to keep her that way. All right. So Roger Metzger against Seaver, 129 for Seaver, and that's a strikeout. 130. I'm sorry, that's a redirect on a 1 to 131. That's a redirect to a 329. So Metzger on a 329 is going to be a ground ball 4 to 6 fielder's choice, which will end the inning as Morgan throws Concepcion to take care of it. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second, still Cincinnati 1 and Houston zip. Joe Morgan's RBI single in the first is still holding up. So bottom of the second we go, and Dave Concepcion will be the leadoff man to face James Rodney Richard. Concepcion trying to atone for that error that he had earlier. Richard, 304. 304 is a let's see here. 304 is going to be a strikeout. Those low 300s seem to be always a strikeout. Maybe there's exceptions, but it seems that way. So 1 down as Concepcion strikes out. Here's Geronimo. Cesar Geronimo. 5-5-3. You've got a fielding check on the third baseman. Fielding check on the third baseman for Houston. And the third baseman on Houston is Enos Cabell. We will check his defensive rating at third base. At third base, Enos Cabell, right here, the blue die is a 3. So that means it's a 5 to 3 ground out. If it had been a 4, if that blue die had been 4 to 8, it would have been a single. But it's a 3, so it's a 5 to 3 ground out for out number 2, as Geronimo is retired. That'll bring up the pitcher card, and this game has a very unique pitcher hitting system where you take into consideration the eye and contact rating of the pitcher. So it's really really interesting. So let's see what happens here with J.R. Richard. We get a 432. So we come over here to 432, which is between 400 and 499. So we're checking the eye rating of Tom Seaver. His eye is a 5. So we come over here to 5, and let's see what we've got. 432 was the number. So 432 under a 5 falls right here, which would be a 6-4-3 double play, but nobody's on base, so it's just a 6 to 3 ground out to end the inning. So 1-2-3 inning for J.R. Richard. And the Reds are done in their half of the second inning. So 2 innings are in the books here in Cincinnati. I think some of the locals call it Cincinnati. Not Cincinnati, but Cincinnati. And we go to the third inning. Tom Seaver back out. And leading off will be J.R. Richard, so we're back on the pitcher card once again for James Rodney Richard. And let's leave his card here so I can check his eye and his contact if we need to get there. I'm assuming, though, if we roll 100 or 200, we go off the pitcher card and we don't even use this. Just like any other batter, I would assume. But that's a 636, so that means we're going to go to the ballpark card. 636, and a 636 is going to be a 3 to 6 put out. That doesn't even make any sense. How can it be a 3 to 6 put out at first base if nobody's on base? That doesn't even make any sense here. So I'm not sure what to do with that. I'm just going to call it 3 unassisted because the shortstop would not be covering first base. So that one's a little wonky to me right here. I don't get that one. Maybe somebody could explain it. I know it's in purple. If the infield's in, it's a single. But what is the 3? The 3-6 doesn't do anything for me because it just doesn't make any sense. So I'm just going to call it a ground ball to first and be done with it. Say 3 unassisted. Not that it really matters. I'm not keeping, defensive stats or any of that kind of stuff. So, hello, Clee. Could have been transposed in 6-3. That's possible too. But with nobody on base, luckily nobody's on base, so it didn't matter. It's just an out. That's what's important, is the out. So there's one away, and that brings up the top of the order Terry Poole. Oh, we got a 652, so we're under the ballpark card once again. 652, and we're in the same situation. That's a 6-4 ground out. This time it's not messed up, so apparently 6-4 works this time. Actually, 6-4 doesn't work. It'll be a 6-3. So, like I said, somebody has to explain that one to me because that's a little wonky to me. Why that would be a 6-4, but anyway, 2 down, and it's going to bring up Enos Cabell. Cabell struck out his first chance. 114. 114 on Seaver is a redirect to a 314, and a 314 again, low 300s, is a strikeout. So Cabell out on strikes again. So Seaver, 3 up and 3 down, go the Astros. And we go to the bottom of the third. Still 1-0 Cincinnati Reds. You expect a pitching duel, and that's what we got so far. Although they did touch up J.R. Richard for a run in the bottom of the first, thanks to a double by Griffey and a single by Morgan. Whoops, wrong team. Let's have Cincinnati. Houston does not get to bat twice. So Pete Rose will lead things off against J.R. Richard. Hello, Kenyon. How you doing? All right, we got a 173, and on J.R. Richards' card, a 173 is a walk. He was prone to walk some guys. He did walk 141 batters, so that is a leadoff walk to Pete Rose. So Charlie hustles down to first base on the walk. Sometimes those leadoff walks will come back to bite you. Here comes Griffey. He doubled his first time up. Richard, 5-0-6. We're on the rare plays again. So we got to go back to the rare play book. Or rare play chart that's in the rule book. So let me pull that out again. Re-roll for the rare play. 394 on the rare plays. So we go to 394. And 394 falls into 350 to 399. Single plus plus with a possible E8. Single to center field. If the white die is higher than center fielder's fielding, the batter advances to second base on a fielding error. The white die is a 9. That's definitely higher than the fielder. So it's going to be a single plus an error. And Pete Rose, now that's the thing. Single plus plus would send Rose to third. Since there's an error, I have to assume Rose would score on this play because the double dash here takes him to third automatically, whether there's an error or not. And since it's an E8, he's got, in my mind, he has to score. I don't know if that's wrong. I mean, I'm just thinking logically. In my mind, he has to score. So Rose will come in to score. At least that's the way I'm playing it. Like I said, if somebody who watches this later says I did it wrong, let me know. But that's just what seems to make sense. And Griffey is on second base, single plus an E8. So Griffey has singled and doubled. And Cedeno made the error. So Rose will score. And so far, it's an unearned run. Of course, there's nobody out, so it could be turned into an earned run very quickly with some more hits. Here's Joe Morgan. And again, Richard in trouble. 150. And 150 is going to be a walk. So yet another walk for J.R. Richard. He is just pitching himself into trouble. Runs at first and second with nobody out. In one run already in for the dangerous George Foster. Stepping to the plate next. And these new cards are kind of slippery, so they do slide around a bit. All right. Richard. 646. And we're going to the ballpark, but we're going to add 10 because the home team's batting. So it turns into a 656. 656 is a 6-4 fielder's choice. The infield was not in. It's a 6-4 fielder's choice. So Griffey will take third with one out. Morgan's out at second base, 6-4. And Foster will reach on the fielder's choice, 6-4. Like I said, this is a maiden voyage on my setup here, so it's going to be a little clunky most likely. So he's out 6-4 for out number one. And that's going to bring up Mr. Dreesen. Now, do you play the infield in or do you play back for the double play? I would assume you'd play back for the double play. So they're going to try to turn a double play. Of course, Richard wouldn't mind a strikeout either. And let's see, Richard on his strikeout totals. He's got 2 so far, 1 each inning, but he hasn't had one in the third yet. Be a good time for it. 391 is going to be a 4-6-3 double play. How do you like that? Just what the doctor ordered. 4-6-3 double play. And that's going to end the inning. So the Reds get a run. They do it on 1 hit and 1 error, and they leave 1 on base. But at the end of 3 innings of play, it's Cincinnati 2 and Houston nothing. And again, if anybody sees me make any errors, please let me know, and I will see what I can do to rectify that. Yeah, I don't know how, my phone's probably not good to capture this, but these printed cards are very, very nice looking compared to the PDF that I have. In fact, I'll show a PDF and a regular card just to see if you can tell the difference or not. This Roger Metzger card is a PDF. Whoops, wrong card. And Terry Poole is the printed, so I'm not sure how well that shows up on the differences, but that's kind of what they look like right here. Like I said, my phone may not pick up the quality of it to see how good the printed set looks compared to the PDF, but anyway, that's what I got going there. Okay, so now Tom Seaver's back out, and he's got a 2-0 lead to work with. And he's going to be facing Cesar Cedeno to lead things off. Cedeno, first time up, got the only hit of the game for Houston so far. That's a 266, and that's under Seaver's card under the split against a right-hander. 266 is a deep fly to left field. Cedeno's power is an 8. So we got to get the deep drive chart out to left field. So we're right here. We're going to roll the white and blue die and add it to the power rating of 8 and see if he puts one out of here. That is a 9, so a total of 17, and that is a home run. Long and gone for Mr. Cesar Cedeno. He takes Tom Seaver deep on the deep drive. Barely got it. 16 would have been an out, but 17 was just enough. That's a total of 9 added to his 8 power rating, and that produces the home run right there. So Cedeno had 7 home runs and just 192 at bats. Obviously, he was injured that year to only get that many at bats, but he made it count when he was in there. That's for sure, and it cuts the lead to 2-1. 2-1 game right now. Seaver has to recover a bit. And that's going to bring up, let me make sure this is not blurry again. I'm putting stuff in front of these things, and sometimes the camera will get out of focus. I'm hoping it does not. All right, here's Jose Cruz. Seaver, 456. And that's a split chance. Cruz against a righty, 456, is a single. That would have been a strikeout against a lefty, but against a righty, it is a single. So Jose Cruz with the base hit. When I first initially saw this game, I didn't think the splits were that robust to matter, but now that I'm starting to roll some games, maybe they're more effective than I thought. So that's going to bring up Bob Watson. Brian B., yes, these are History Makers. This is Al Wilson's stuff on his free site from History Maker Baseball. That's where I got them from. The stadium cards are a free PDF. These are free PDF. So we'll see, 533. So we're in the defensive check again for the first baseman, and that's a 3. So we're checking Danny Dreesen. Check his numbers defensively at first base. A 533 is a 3 unassisted. Had that been a 2, it would have been a double play, but it's just a 3 unassisted. Cruz will, let's get sticky on this little board here. Cruz will take second, and that's 1 away, 3 unassisted. But it does put Cruz into scoring position. And it's going to set up Joe Ferguson with 1 out. Seaver, 1 4-0-1. That's a redirect to a 3-0-1, which again is another strikeout. So Seaver getting those strikeouts on the redirect. And that's 2 down. And now it's all up to Art Howe. Reached on an error by Concepcion his first time up. Seaver, another defensive check. It's a 584, and that's going to be Cesar Geronimo territory. He's an excellent fielder, so you would think he would make the play. But we'll check it out. That's a 4 on the blue die, so 584 is going to be a fly to center. Now, runner was on third, and there were less than 2 outs. He'd have to challenge the runner to throw, but in this case, that's the third out, so it's just a fly to center, and that's going to take care of business. So the home run by Cedeno has cut the lead in half. It is now 2-1 as the Astros get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. 2-1 our score here in the bottom of the 4th inning. And due up for the Reds, it'll be Mr. Johnny Bench. So Johnny Bench taking on J.R. Richard. 2-19 for Richard. That's a left-right split chance against a right-hander. 2-19 is a 6-3 ground out. So a ground ball to short, Metzger all over it. 1 down, and Johnny Bench is retired. That'll bring up Concepcion. Definitely in the Hall of Very Good. Some could argue that he's in the Hall. He could be a Hall of Fame candidate. I think he could be. I mean, if Pee Wee Reese and Phil Rizzuto are in there, Concepcion 10 times better than either one of them. 381, and a 381 is going to be a single right here. 381 for Concepcion. He gets the base hit. So 1-out single for Concepcion will bring up Cesar Geronimo. Richard, 473, and 473 is a left-right split against the righty. 473 is an F8. So that's going to be out number 2. There's a plus there, but I don't think you can move up from first base on that. Let me check the quick reference chart and see if that's even the case. You might be able to. I don't want to cheat him out of that. If there's something on here about taking the extra base, but I don't see that on here. I'm assuming that means if it's a F8 plus, I'm assuming that means he scores. I don't see any provision to move up from first base on that. So I'm glad you got your truck washed, RJL. How many cars do you have now? Isn't there a rumor that in between seasons you get new cars or something, or you buy another car, and there's some inside joke about that somewhere? Seemed like I remember hearing that, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, so 2 outs, and that brings up the pitcher, Tom Seaver. Tom, terrific. We get a 260, and that's going to be under Richard against a right-hander. 260 is a strikeout, so he struck him out. Seaver is gone on strikes. So that's going to end the inning there for the Reds. They get a single from Concepcion, but that was it. And we go to the 5th, 2-1, favor of Cincinnati. And Roger Metzger, with his PDF card, is coming up to lead things off. Yeah, all the snow they get down in Florida, I'm sure he had to get the salt removed from his vehicle. All right, here is Seaver to Metzger, 279. Split chance. Metzger's a switch hitter batting left, so 279 is a deep fly to right field. Metzger's got a 0 power rating, though, so I don't think there's any chance he's going to hit a home run, but he might get a hit. That's an 8. So an 8 on a deep fly to right field. An 8 is actually going to be a single. So it is a single. It is a single. There's a B question mark there, but I'm not sure what that's for. I don't know, maybe somebody can explain that one if they've played the game a lot, what this B question mark is. With nobody on base and just the batter getting the hit, I'm assuming the B question mark is ignored. Or is this saying the batter has a chance to move up to has an opportunity to take the extra base? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the batter has an opportunity to challenge. Is that what that's all about? Or the batter has an opportunity to challenge the outfielder, maybe? So I'm thinking maybe he has an opportunity to challenge. If we do challenge, let's see, what kind of speed does Metzger have? He has a speed of 5. And the arm of the right fielder Griffey, his arm is a 4. So we have to beat a 15. We have to beat a 14 rather. So we have to roll 3 die and get 10 or higher. So we're going to try that. He's going to challenge and try to get the extra base. These 3 die have to add three dice have to add up to 10 or higher to beat this. And they do, definitely. So Metzger will take the extra base, and I'm assuming I did that correctly, but if somebody knows for sure, they can let me know, but I'm pretty sure the B question mark means that the batter has a chance to challenge the arm of the outfielder. That's what I'm guessing. So we're going to call that actually a double now instead of a single. It's a leadoff double for Metzger, and that will bring up the pitcher, J.R. Richard. Seaver, 208 against the right-handed hitting pitcher is now going to be redirected to a 408. So 408, and we look at under 408, the eye rating of Richard, his eye is a 2. So let's see here. 408 and his eye rating is a 2. 408 is a 6-4-3 double play, but there's nobody on base at first. It's just a ground ball to second. And with the ground ball hit to short, I'm going to say Metzger holds. So it's a 6-3 ground out for out number 1. But had we not taken the aggressive move for Metzger to get that double, that would have been a double play. So maybe that was a good thing there. I don't know. But all right, top of the order for Terry Poole. Seaver, 182. 182 is a walk. So Seaver walks Terry Poole. And now the Astros have 2 on with only 1 out. And Enos Cabell, the batter, Cabell has struck out both times, I believe on redirects. 4-16, no to redirect this time. 4-16 against a right-hander though is a 6-4-3 double play. So that's worse than a double than a strikeout. It's a 6-4-3 double play to end the inning. So the leadoff double does not work for the Astros at all. No runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 left. A promising start to the inning comes to naught for the Astros as they come away empty-handed thanks to that 6-4-3 double play. All right. Oops. Pete Rose is your leadoff man for the bottom of the 5th against J.R. Richard. And if this setup seems too busy, let me know, and I may look for doing another board. I may use the inside pitch board or something to try this. I'm not sure. This is my first default go-to and kind of an experiment. So Richard, 182, and that is showing a wild pitch, so it's just ball 1. Try again. 6-0-3, but Rose is batting the home batter is 6-13. 6-13 is actually going to be a strikeout. So he went from a ground out to a strikeout. So Pete Rose out on strikes to lead off the inning. And that's going to send up Mr. Griffey. .120, and 120 is a straight-up strikeout, no redirect needed. J.R. Richard has struck out the last 3 batters he has faced, going back to the previous inning when he struck out Seaver. But now he's got to deal with Morgan. Morgan has singled and walked. 6-0-1, and again, we're going to add 10 because the home team's bat is now a 6-11. 6-11 is yet another strikeout, so he strikes out the side. Does J.R. Richard. Keeps his team in the game at 2-1, and we go to the 6th inning. Stamina for both pitchers. Let's see, Richard's a 7, Seaver is a 6. So this is the 6th inning right here for the Reds, so we'll keep an eye on Seaver. Hopefully, they're hoping to get through 6 innings. Well, we shall see. All right. Seaver, 648. Visiting team is batting, so no adjustment. 6-4-8, and that's going to be a 5-3 ground out. It shows 5-4 there, but nobody's on base. So Pete Rose will throw to Dreesen to retire Cedeno for out number 1. Brings up Jose Cruz. 327, and that's under Cruz. 327 is going to be a fly to left field for out number 2. So I like the flow of the game. I like how it flows. It's going pretty fast. Some of the little question mark and plus, marking, some of that stuff, I'm not 100% familiar with that. It's the only thing so far that's really slowed me down. Everything else has gone pretty well, I think. Of course, somebody could come on here later and say, hey, you really screwed this up. But that's okay. If I did, let me know and I'll fix it. Seaver to Watson, 122. That's a redirect to a 322. And 322 is that dreaded strikeout. So Seaver redirecting the Astros into strikeouts. And that's going to end the inning. Seaver's going to go into the 7th inning because he is not giving up anything. So he still has not put anything on his fatigue number. So he will keep going. Like to get 7 innings out of Seaver if they can. Then they could pinch hit for him in the bottom of the 7th. That's the plan. Here's J.R. Richard to George Foster. That would be, he's not a very good hitter. Well, yeah, did hit 327. I take it back. Rick Auerbach. In limited duty in 55 at-bats, he hit 327. He played 63 games, so he had to be either a pinch runner or a defensive replacement at some point to be doing playing all those games, but had such few at-bats. All right, here's Richard to Foster. 673, but again, you're going to add 10 for the home team batting. Makes it a 683. 683 is a single for George Foster. Would have been a bloop single otherwise, but it's a regular single here. Nobody on base, so it doesn't matter. George Foster, that leadoff single. And that'll bring up Dreesen. Now the Astros have to be careful and keep track of what they want to do. Richard is set to bat 4th next inning, so I'd like to get them at least through this 6th inning, if nothing else. Richard, 5-16. We're under a fielding check for J.R. Richard himself. Oop, that blue dot was a 6. So J.R. Richard, a 5-16, is a single to center field. Single to center field. Foster will stop at second base. So single to center for Dreesen. And that puts 2 runners on, and now the Astro bullpen is loosening as they've come up with the first 2 batters of the inning to get hits. And so they have left-hander Floyd Bannister and right-hander Gene Pence. Double barrel action in the Astro bullpen for Johnny Bench. 684, but that's going to add 10 to it, make it a 694. 694 is a double for Johnny Bench. That's a double. Double, and with nobody out, they're going to hold Dreesen at third base because there's nobody out, but they're starting to get to J.R. Richard pretty quickly here. A double. Foster will score. And still nobody out. Reds lead at 3-1, and they are definitely challenging for more. Concepcion's the batter. The infield is in. And this is probably going to be the last batter for Richard. They do have the lefty ready to go for Geronimo, but they got problems here. All right, Richard he could definitely use a strikeout right about now. He might get it. Not on 162. 162 is actually going to be a walk. That's what he didn't need, was a walk. And now that's going to load the bases, and that's going to be it for JR. He's going to have to leave. Astros say, I can't take any more. I don't remember who the manager was at this point. Didn't look it up. But whoever it is, he's taking him out of the game, and they're going to bring in the left-hander. If I can find his card. Joe Sambito. Not Sambito, I'm sorry. It would be Bannister. Oh, you know what? We're going to bring in Sambito because they need to bring in somebody that can get out of a jam. So I know Sambito is like their closer, but if you let this get away, you don't have to worry about closing anything. So they're going with the best they have to try to stem the tide. So a little unconventional, but they feel like that's what they have to do in order to not get blown away. So Joe Sambito is in to try to get out of this inning. That's his job. He is facing Geronimo with the bases loaded and nobody out, and the infield is playing in. They have to cut off the run. That is a 643. It's going to turn to a 653. 653 is a 6-4, but with the infield in, it's a single plus. That's the chance you take playing the infield in, but that's a single plus, which means the runner on second will score. Everybody else gets one base. So Dreesen and Bench both score. Those runs are charged to J.R. Richard. And going to second and stopping there is Concepcion. Boy, these things get stuck on these things here. But Geronimo comes through with a 2-run single. And the Reds have pretty much blown this game open right now. 3 runs in the inning, make it 5-1. And now we got the pitcher spot, Seaver. And you know what? They're going to pinch. No, you know what? They're going to keep Seaver in there because he hasn't reached fatigue yet. He hasn't given up anything. So they're going to keep Seaver in there. And with nobody out, they're going to bunt. So let's check on Seaver's bunt rating. His bunt rating is a 6. Keep that in mind. His bunt rating is a 6. So we'll keep that in mind. And since I haven't done a bunt before, I'm going to pull out the old quick start card and look at the bunts. I see steals. I don't see bunts. So I'm going to go to the rule book for the bunts. It's probably under the offensive strategy card. Let me look at that. That's probably where it is. Offensive strategy. Here we go. Bunts. Okay. So we're going to add all 3 dice to the bunt rating. Again, his bunt rating is a 6. So we're going to add all 3 dice to the bunt rating and see what happens. All right, we get an 11, and then the 6, there was a 17. So it's a 17, and it's a fielder's choice to the pitcher. Fielder's choice C below. Let's see here. Unforced runners hold, lead runner is forced out. With run on first, defense, let's see, no, that's for a double. All right, here we go, fielder's choice. Unforced runners hold. Defense may take automatic out at first or challenge any forced runner's speed with fielder's arm. So it's not necessarily a fielder's choice. According to this, they have to earn the fielder's choice. So the arm rating plus the 3 dice have to be greater than 10 and the runner's speed. All right, so if they want to get the force on, say, Concepcion, let's check his running rating. Concepcion's speed is a 4, so it's Geronimo. So Concepcion's speed is a 4. So that means that the arm of the pitcher plus the 3 dice have to be greater than 14, greater than or equal to 14. So let's see, the arm on Sambito is a 3. So these 3 dice have to total 11 or higher to get that force play. And they do. So it's a 14 there. So they do get the force on Concepcion. It'll go down as a fielder's choice 1 to 5 on the fielder's choice as they get that lead runner. Get over there. And Seaver with the failed sacrifice bunt. So I'm hoping I did that correctly. Fielder's choice, and the runner is out 1. Run on third is out 1 to 5. Now there's 1 away. So if somebody's watching this later and saw I did it wrong, let me know. That's the way I interpret that. All right. Now we go to Pete Rose. So Sambito back in the box. Facing Rose. 443 for Rose. He is a switch hitter against a lefty. 443 is a 6-3 ground out. So Geronimo and Seaver will both move up on the 6-3 ground out. Out number 2. And Ken Griffey is your batter. So Sambito trying to get out of this. Hello, Jimmy Jam. How you doing? Sambito, 300 for Sambito. And that's going to be a strikeout for under Griffey's card to end the inning. So Sambito, other than giving up the 2-run single to allow the inherited runners to score, he did well after that, but damage was done. 3 runs for the Reds. They take a 5-1 lead after 6. And Seaver is in there, but he's bordering on being fatigued, so we got to watch out for that. Sambito is done. He's finished. And let's see, leading off for the Astros will be Ferguson. And in the bullpen, Gene Pence for the for the Astros rather. Gene Pence, the righty, will be coming in next. Let's get the base runners off of here. Clear the bases. And keep an eye on Seaver. Ferguson, 356. 356 is a single, so that's going to bump Seaver up by 10. If we get to the 600 chart, that's going to bump that number up by 10 for the fatigue level of 1. And that's going to send up Art Howe. I do like those cards ID. They just don't fit too well on the board. All right, here is Art Howe. Again, Seaver has reached 1 fatigue level, so we're going to have plus 10 on the stadium card if need be. And as soon as we get the stadium card, we got the right here, 649. He's going to increase to a 659 because of the first level of fatigue. But 659 is going to be a 3-1 put out. So Ferguson will make it to second base. If I can get him over there. Get over there, Ferguson. He's at second base. Only play was Dreesen to Seaver covering for out number 1. Without the plus 10, that would have been a fielder's choice. So all it did was cost him the runner moving up, but with a 5-1 lead, probably doesn't matter. So 1 out for Roger Metzger, and pinch hitter loosening in the dugout, or on deck circle, I should say. For the Astros, let's see who they got to pinch hit that's left-handed. Probably Denny Walling, I'm imagining. Yep, Denny Walling has picked up a bat. He will hit for Joe Sambito. So Denny Walling is on deck. 1 out, here's Metzger, 446. Metzger facing a right-hander, 446 is a 4-6 put out, but nobody's on first. It's a 4-3 put out, but since it went to the right-hand side of the infield, Ferguson will take third base. So it's going to go 4-3. But now there are 2 outs. And for the pitcher, we have a pinch hitter, and it is Denny Walling. So now with 2 outs, Denny Walling will come in and get the chance to hit and see if he can do anything to help the cause. Jimmy Jam, I like the flow of the game. There's just certain instances where little symbols might throw me off, like the question marks and stuff like that. That's just going to be, take time to play these games. It took me, 7 or 8 games to get comfortable with Fall Classic, so I'm sure it's going to take me quite a few to get comfortable with season ticket. But I think the learning curve is pretty small. All right, I say that and I probably make a bunch of errors, but that's just the way it is. Here's Seaver, 372, and that's going to be a fly to right field, and that's going to end the inning. So Walling fails in the pinch, and Tom Seaver is going to go 7 innings. That's going to be it for him. They're going to cap him at 7 innings. He is done. He's done his job. 7 innings on opening day, and he's definitely in line for the win as they lead 5-1. And now the Astros will need a new pitcher. And it's going to be Gene Pence. Right-hander Gene Pence. Terrible ERA of 6. But when you're down 5-1, you bring your scrubs in. So, leading off will be Morgan, followed by Foster and Dreesen. Gene Pence. my 500 rolls for defense right now, since this is a one-off and I have these nice slick cards, I'll just use the cards. I will eventually do a defensive sheet. But I think what I'm going to do, unlike yours, ID, if I can figure out how to do it, is just put the home team, like Riverfront Stadium's just going to have Cincinnati on here. And if they're playing the Astros, I'll pull out Astrodome and have the Astros field. That way I don't need as much room because I'm just using the home team's defense. And when I need the visiting team defense, just bring out the visiting team ballpark card and it'll have the same thing. So I'm thinking maybe about doing something like that, but way early to tell because we're still in the early stages of me trying to figure this game out. Okay, well, let's get Ferguson off the bases. So Joe Morgan will lead off. It's the bottom of the seventh, actually. So as ID like to say, let's take a stretch so we don't pull a hammy. So we're going to take a little small stretch break. Tabby is still sleeping. She's not stretching anywhere. Oh, 1978. I'm sorry. I thought I put 78 in. I forgot to put 78. I'm sorry. I'll update the title later, but it is 1978. All right, so we're ready to go. I think I've stretched enough now. I won't pull a hammy the rest of the day. So Joe Morgan will lead it off against Pence. We get a 634, but again, the home team gets added 10 to that. Make it a 644. 644. And again, I think that's a misprint. It's got 4-6. I'm just going to call it 4-3 to make it simple with nobody on base. One away. Morgan is retired. And that brings up George Foster. Of course, playing the infield in cost the Astros 2 runs in the 6th inning. So Pence, 648. Again, add 10, make it 658. And 658 is a 6-3 ground out. So 2 outs. So Pence, despite his 6.00 ERA, got 2 outs on the ballpark card. And here's Dreesen. 341. We're under Dreesen. 341, and that's going to be a single for Dan Dreesen. 2-out single for Mr. Dreesen. He's aboard the 2-out single. He is 3 for 4 in the game now. And that's going to bring us to Mr. Johnny Bench. That's what I'm calling it, Jester. That's exactly what I'm calling it. Pence, 453. So we're against a right-hander, a 4.53 is a fly to right, and that's going to end the inning. Nothing doing there. So Pence did okay. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 left. And we go to the 8th inning. Still 5-1. And we need a new pitcher for Cincinnati, as Tom Seaver did what he needed to do to take care of things. And let's see how they want to play this. Let's see, Pence is probably done, most likely. Let's go to our bullpen. All right, RJL, see you later. Try to catch you tonight on your game of the week or game of the night or whatever you want to call it. Coming up for the Astros, it will be the top of the order. Poole, Cabell, and Cedeno, lefty and 2 righties. So I think they're going to go with the righty out of the bullpen in Dale Murray. Oops, over here. Dale Murray, a right-hander, in the bullpen. Dale Murray. He's got a stamina of 1, so we're not going to worry about a double switch. He's just there to pitch the 8th inning. That's it. So if he gets to his spot in the order, we'll pinch hit for him, and it won't be any sweat. All right. Leading off will be Terry Poole for the Astros. They got the work cut out for them, down 5-1. Reds won this game historically 11-9. So we're getting much better pitching in this game. Murray, 6-13 for Poole. A 6-13 is a strikeout. So Poole out on strikes, 1 away. Had it been the home team, 623 would have still been a strikeout. It would have been a pop to second, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Outs and outs and out. Here's Enos Cabell. Murray, 473 against a right-hander. 473. It's a single for Enos Cabell. So his first hit of the game, he'd had a rough game. He'd struck out twice and into a double play, but this time he gets a single. Try to get something started for the Astros. And that brings up Cedeno. He homered for the only run of the game for Houston. 5:46. So we're looking at Joe Morgan with a 6. That's probably bad news. We'll check Morgan's card. But most likely that is going to be bad news. 5-6 is a single to right field. And down 5-1, I think they might be playing station-to-station baseball. So single to right field by Cedeno. Now ID or somebody else could tell me, if I wanted to challenge the runner, could I, or do you have to have that question mark thing to challenge? Because the result on the card is simply a straight-up single. Straight-up single on Joe Morgan. If we look at Joe Morgan's card again, it just says single right field, but there's no sign behind it. I don't know about the 70s, but I know in the 80s all we got was the Orioles, Brian. We had to watch the Orioles. That was all that was available to us locally on the cable. All right, so I'm going to, given the game situation being down 5-1, I don't see any reason to take any chances, although it'd be nice to get a runner at third with less than 2 outs. Down by 4 runs, I just don't think you run yourself out of an inning. Okay, must have the question mark challenge. That's why I was thinking about playing at ID, so that's the way I'm going to stick with it. Particularly down 5-1, I don't want to run myself out of an inning. Here's Jose Cruz. 5:31. That's bad news for the batting team because that one's probably going to be a double play. 5:31, we're looking at Dan Dreesen. And a 1 is a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning, so it didn't matter if we set him or not. Double play takes care of it. 3-6-3. And the inning is over. Not the ball game, but the inning is over. They got 2 hits, but nothing to show for it after that. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Still 5-1. And the Astros leave 2 on base and come away disappointed. Thanks to that double play. And let's see if they're going to have a new pitcher for the bottom of the 8th. I think they will. And Murray's day is done, too, for the Reds. So the Astros are going to the bullpen. They've used Sambito and they've used Pence. Forgot to scratch off Pence. So it's most likely going to be Tom Dixon or either Ken Forsch, one of the two. Forsch is more like their closer. Tom Dixon's he was a starter and a reliever, but he's not starting for a while, so they're going to go ahead and let him get an inning of work in. So Tom Dixon will get the inning of work in. And he'll be facing Concepcion, Geronimo, and a pinch hitter for Murray. And on the bench for the Reds, left-handed pinch hitting-wise, you do have Mike Lum. And you got switch hitter Dave Collins, but they're going with Mike Lum as a pinch hitter. So Lum will pinch hit when it's his time. But right now it is Concepcion and Geronimo, first 2 in the order, against Tom Dixon. Bottom of the 8th, Reds lead at 5-1. Concepcion will get that first chance. I am excited about playing the new games, and yes, I am really excited about getting back to Strat, but I want to get back to Strat in the right way, so I want to play these first, and then I will be full force in Strat once I got these games down, a little bit better. That way I can add them to the rotation. But yes, I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to Stratomatic Super Advanced and doing that slow playthrough. Tutorial, whatever you want to call it. All right, here is Concepcion against Dixon. 183, and that's going to be a foul out or pop up to third, whichever way you want to look at it. Concepcion is out as Cabell puts it away. 1 down for Geronimo. 177, and that's going to be another pop out. So the same thing, pop out to third. 2 quick outs, and that brings up the pinch hitter Mike Lum. So Mike Lum is aboard as a pinch hitter. Four, 6, 7. Split chance against a righty. 467 is a double for Mike Lum. So How about that for picking out the right pinch hitter? Almost as good as ID is picking them out. So Mike Lum with a pinch hit double with 2 outs in the bottom of the 8th. Pinch hit double for Lum. And it looks like Pedro Bourbon will try to finish the game out for the Reds. But here's Pete Rose. Chance to tack on another run. 436 against a righty. 436 is a single to center field. No, I'm sorry, 436 is a 4-6 fielder's choice. I misread that. I was reading 446. 436 is a 4-6 fielder's choice, which in this case is just a 4-3 ground out. So no runs a hit, no errors, and 1 left. We go to the 9th in Cincinnati. The score 5-1. And the Reds will be calling on Pedro Bourbon to finish the deal. Not a save situation, so they will not use Doug Baer. They will go with Pedro Bourbon instead. So let's get Pedro Bourbon out here and see if he can finish off this game. Let's see, what is Ray Knight's defense? Is his defense significantly better than Pete Rose's? Let's see here. Ray Knight's defense, let's check his defense versus Pete Rose's defense. And actually, they're the same. They're the exact same. Range is a 3. Fielding's a 7 for Knight. Fielding's actually an 8 for Rose. And the results are identical. So really, Rose is showing up as a better fielder than Ray Knight. And whether you believe that or not, the game is reflecting that. So we'll just go ahead and keep Pete Rose in there for the time being. Actually, Doug Baer was this closer, so we're going with Pedro Bourbon. So we're not going to use Doug Baer unless the Bourbon runs into trouble. Baer is kind of stretching in the bullpen just in case Bourbon runs into issues. But they're going to try to let Bourbon with a 4-run lead take care of business. So Pedro Bourbon will be in. Leading off for the Astros will be Bob Watson. So Bourbon will be dealing with Watson, Ferguson, and Howe. And on the bench, they could go to some pinch hitters, could Houston, if they chose. See if they get on the bench that's left-handed that's any good. Well, Lou's a good hitter, but he's right-handed. Bergman's 231, not very good. 230. So they do have Jesus Alou, and they might pinch hit Jesus Alou for somebody down the road. But right now, you're not going to pinch hit for Bob Watson, that's for sure. 5-1 Reds, top of the 9th. 407. 407 is going to be against a right-hander of 4-3 ground out. Would have been a double play, but nobody's on base, so 1 away. Watson is retired, so Joe Ferguson will be pulled with his 207 average. He's going to come out of there. And Jesus Alou will pinch hit. And if they somehow miraculously tie the game to send it to extra innings, they will have Ed Herman come in and take over as the catcher. But right now it is Jesus Alou pinch hitting here in the 9th. His 324 average, infinitely better than Joe Ferguson's 207. Bourbon, 493. Against a right-hander, 493 is a fly to center field. It would have been a deep drive against a lefty. But here it's just a fly to center for out number 2. Ferguson, in case you were curious, would have struck out on that result. Mungo Jerry, yes, they are. I got these off of Diamond Mine Baseball Game, which I trust their transactions. So according to what I was told and what I was shown, these are the actual opening day rosters. All right, so 2 down. And now it's up to Art Howe. He's the only one left. 293. You're not going to pinch hit for a 293 hitter. Bourbon, 624 on the ballpark card. 624. And that's a pop to second. Joe Morgan calls for it and will make the catch. And there is your ball game. 1, 2, 3 go the Astros in the 9th. It is a 5-1 Reds win. Tom Seaver gets the win. J.R. Richard gets the loss. There is no save. I'm not sure who you give the player of the game to. I would say give it to Griffey because even though he struck out his last 2 times, he doubled in the first and scored. and had an RBI single in the third. So maybe give it to him. Maybe Dreesen was 3 for 4. That's another possibility. But or you can give it to Seaver. He pitched 7 innings of 1-run ball. That's another possibility. We get the totals for each of the teams. Did anybody make an error? Yes, there was an error on the center fielder Cedeno for Houston. Cincinnati made no errors. Let's check the hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 for Houston. Left on base, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for the Reds, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, 11. I've got them for 11 hits. Left on base, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. So these are unofficial. 5-1 Reds, 5 runs, 11 hits, no errors, 8 left. For Houston, 1 run, 7 hits, 1 error, and 6 left. Seaver the winner, J.R. Richard the loser. So hopefully didn't really have any issues. The only question I had ID was this one, and I played it, and hopefully I did it correctly. You can let me know. I had a result on a deep drive. Nobody was on base. It was a deep drive, and the roll was an 8. So it was a single plus, but it had B question mark. Let me put it up here. Maybe you can see it better on my phone. It had B question mark. And B, I would assume, means batter, and the question mark usually means challenge. So I took that to mean that the batter with the base hit could challenge for a double, challenge the right fielder for a double. So that's the way I played it. And he actually got the double with doing the challenge roll. So I'm hoping I did that right, where it's a single, and the B question mark means he could challenge the right fielder. That's the way I played it. Hopefully that's the way it's supposed to be played. Certainly an expert could tell me, but that's the only one that kind of stumped me at first. But that's the way I played it, and like I said, I'm hoping that's the way it's supposed to be played. And on base hits with runners on base, if it didn't have the plus sign next to it, I counted as a 1 base advancement. I didn't challenge, didn't do anything. If it says single, I just did 1 base. So hopefully that's correct there. The B question mark. That's the only one that really gave me a kind of a pause to look at it again. But I really like these cards. These cards are beautiful. My phone's not picking up the quality of these, how good these cards are. But like I said, if you want to compare the PDF version to the cardstock version, Metzger's PDF, Watson's a printed. So okay, so you're saying he can only move up if there's a throw to the lead runner. It's not that he can challenge for an extra base. It's only if the throw goes for the lead runner. Okay, I like I said, I'll have to look at it. So I really like these printed set. I'm more apt to play with the printed set than I am the PDF that I bought. But even though I printed off on the perforated things from Amazon, these printed sets are so much brighter paper, so much clearer, and they're really slick, and they slide around like a deck of playing cards. So I really like those. I mean, they're more expensive, obviously, but as the old saying goes, you pay for what you get. And again, by the time you print off and spend the ink and the paper, your printed set is not that much more than the PDF when you get really down to it. So, but I'm only going to buy the 1 set for now until I figure out if I like this game or not to warrant spending more. I've got 1 PDF of the 67 season, and I've got the printed here for 78. Now, if they come out with printed sets of seasons I prefer that I would like, better than 78, then maybe I will look into getting that. But I just got 78 because I don't have 78 in anything other than APA. And as many of you know, I'm not an APA fan, so it's good to have this in this game. And plus, I've got 78 on the PC replay. So if I wanted to do any kind of a season replay or whatever, I can input the stats directly into Replay Baseball, which is a whole lot easier than putting them into Digital Diamond. Replay is just baseball. PC baseball is incredible for the direct entries. Work out really, really well. So that's what I would do with that. So hopefully I didn't butcher anything too horribly. Like I said, I appreciate any feedback on something I might have made a mistake on. If I misread the dice, I can't control that. Why is that looking blurry to me for some reason? I don't know why it's looking blurry to me for some reason. Maybe I need to adjust the thing here. So anyway, like I said, I was going to do this recorded so I could take the time to look up things and pause the video and all that stuff. But okay, good. That's good to know. Their ID. I will check that out. Batter safe on a throwing error by the pitcher. So I did do it right because he did single, and he did move up. That's what the batter is doing here. The batter is challenging the right fielder's arm to move up. So it kind of looks like the same thing I was just doing. So that looks like the same type of deal there. So, but again, maybe somebody that's an expert in this game can chime in and give me more feedback on that. I don't know. I do like the cards. I like how colorful they are. I'm a big color guy. That's why I like ID. That's why I like inside pitch cards so much, because they're nice and colorful. Whereas the Fall Classic ones are pretty much all the same. Yep, B question mark is batter moving up and challenging the outfield arm. Yep, that's what I did. The flow of the game, I think I actually like Fall Classic a little bit better. But again, I've only played this once, so I need to play this, 7, 8 times to make those kind of decisions. But they're both. I had fun playing both games, so I can't complain one way or the other. Definitely had fun playing those. And it's a nice change of pace from always doing inside pitch or payoff pitch. These are giving me a different perspective on games. And again, Stratomatic is in the background, waiting to be coming out next month. So looking forward to that as well. But for the rest of the month of February, I really want to concentrate on these two games and learning to play them as best I can. Like I said, the setup may not be the best for season ticket. I may need to bring out the big board where I can have the actual cards as base runners. Maybe that's better to do and not worry about a stadium photo, just to have the thing. Next year, I don't know about next year, 2 more games. I don't know what 2 games I could add, but I don't know. Maybe I can force myself to play MPG Plus. I don't know. But there's not a whole lot of the games out there that I can think of that I want to add to my rotation. Wasn't a big fan of the Pocket Pennant. It was okay, but it really wasn't my cup of tea. And anything APRA related, like the MPNG, is not really my cup of tea. I don't know if Deep Drive would be something I could look into. I don't know. That's another one that's out there, is Deep Drive. Possibility. Brian, if they had the 77 printed set available, I would have bought it, but they didn't. So I got the next best thing, 78. But 77, I would definitely bought in the printed. I'm not going to buy the PDF. I do have 70. Oh, Status Pro Advance is another possible one. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. That's another one that could. Although I do have Status Pro Regular, the regular game. So that's a possibility as well. I've got 77 in payoff pitch, inside pitch, and strat. So I could do the Cubs. I started it in strat. When I started the White Sox, I started the Cubs and played about 10, 13 games. Could always pick that up, but that's kind of hard to pick up a project that's been dormant for like 3 or 4 years. I may have to, do something else with that. I don't know. But anyway, my main focus now is to learn these 2 games and then get ready for the Stratomatic 1973 Super Advanced NBC Game of the Week. And I'm waiting on my Stratomatic 2023 cards to get here. I'm also waiting on Stratomatic to refund my erroneous purchase. It does say refunded on their website, but PayPal has not been updated to show that. Right now, I've been charged twice, once for my original order and once for my corrected order, which is still in processing. So I'm going to give them a couple more days. I said it takes 48 hours to get that fixed. It's been more than 48 hours. So we'll wait and see. If it's not there on Monday, I might go ahead and give them another email and saying, hey, make sure that you refund this money to me. I don't want to get too long without, because then the longer it goes, the harder it's going to be to get them to get it straight. So, but I have the documentation where PayPal has charged me for that, so I definitely need to get it back, credited back to PayPal. So when I go to pay my credit card bill, I'm only paying for one, not for both. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to the 2023 Strat set getting here. I need to go make my envelopes and get them all ready. As far as storing these cards, I'm not going to buy envelopes or anything. What I've done, it may just be my frugal self taking over. I don't know. But what I've done for like the Cincinnati Reds, for instance, we pull out their bench cards I've got here. I've got a PDF, because some of these, when you print the PDF to get the extra players, they've got regular players on there too. So I've already got a Ray Knight card printed, but I had to print the Ray Knight card on PDF to get the other cards I needed. So this essentially is a trash card. But what I do is I put that in the front, and I put this guy in the back, another PDF, and that way I can still use the good old-fashioned Stratomatic rubber band. And it's not hurting anything because the rubber band is only touching the PDF cards. It's not touching the printed cards. And that way I know it's Cincinnati. I don't need to make a label for it. Don't need to make anything for it. I can see right away that's Cincinnati. So that's what I'm doing. That's how I'm storing the cards in the box, in the game box that I had from when I bought the game right here. So as you can see, I've got them all here, and I've got the rubber bands around all of them, but the top card and the bottom card are PDFs, so it's not hurting anything. It's not getting to where any of the cards are being hurt or damaged. So that's the way I'm doing those. So anyway, that's that. So I definitely want to keep playing this game and try to get better at it. And I'll probably play a few of these more offline, just to get the hang of it and get more of the. And if I'm not doing a video, maybe I can concentrate more on the rules and get that down pat. And I can go as slow as I want to and that sort of thing. So might be looking to do something like that. So I don't know, ID, do you have more? I know you got videos probably tonight sometime or another. You probably got either Fall Classic or Season Ticket or something going on tonight on your Tampa Bay replay or your Atlanta Braves 2018. One of those probably is going on. I know RJL's got his 1972 game tonight. And so, yeah, I'll probably play some more of this offline today just to get, try to get more proficient at it. And I was talking about 4 minutes. Okay, that's cool. Stratomatic. Oh, you're doing the Stratomatic 2011 St. Louis Cardinals. Okay. Stratomatic 2011 Cardinals because your inside pitch 2011 Cardinals or 2011 set or whatever did not get to your liking, obviously. So, all right. I've got some honeydew stuff to get done now that it's almost right around 12:30 in the afternoon. I need to get some stuff done before it gets too late. Things around the house to get taken care of, but I wanted to get this in. I was going to record this, and at the last minute I said, let's just do it live and see what happens. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that presentation of Season Ticket Baseball, my first true maiden voyage into this. Hopefully it didn't screw things up too bad. Like I said, it's a work in progress. I'm going to try to keep learning it and maybe tinker with different setups and see what I already like. 71 games in. Cool. You're halfway there. More than halfway. Almost halfway there, I should say. So, good deal. All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in, spending part of your Saturday with me. If you're catching this later, thank you for watching it later. And that's going to do it from here. Reds win it on opening day. This is not a season replay, by the way. I just decided to pick this game for a first game. It's not a Reds replay or an Astros replay or any of that stuff. It's just one game. But the Reds win it 5-1. Tom Seaver the winner. J.R. Richard the loser. There was no save because of the 4-run lead. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.